got the online teachers. They come out and they have a sentiment to, like, bash the holidays, right? um but the problem that I see with it is that a lot of times, is what I'm understanding, right, is that people really don't have a thorough understanding on history, far as biblical ritual and celebration is concerned. Because the thing is this, I say this a lot, but I've been studying, the historical, the history of religions, and history of the cult. All of these things go hand in hand. I've been, so, it's getting to the point, not to toot my own horn, but it's getting to the point where, I'm going to be one of the most important references, on the subject. Not the important, not the most important, not the only, but I'm going to be an important reference, because we all bring something to the table. And when there's so much material, when there's so much time, to research, this stuff can't be just done by one person. And so, one thing that you gotta understand about holidays, because most of the time, okay, Easter just passed. So a lot of the times people say, oh, this is really this, and oh, this is really that, and oh, this is really this. But what is the reason? What is the why do we still have it then? Okay? Because this is, okay, so it's like, Easter is supposedly the death and the resurrection of Christ, right? But we have the Easter eggs and the fertility and all of this stuff is associated with it, right? And so, majority of the time, depending on who you are, if you are, I guess you could say a woke Christian, you would say, oh, that's pagan, we don't do that, blah, 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 blah. Or if you are a woke conscious person, you kind of look at it from a different angle, and this is not really this, and this is not really that, and this is just fertility, blah, 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 blah. And that's cool, but that's not really a thorough explanation. That's not really a thorough explanation. That's not really a thorough explanation, because I've been trying to tell people this for years, right? And my time is gonna come. I know my time is gonna come, right? My time is gonna come. Y'all gonna get this work. So a lot of things never change, right? Okay, I said this in a video before, that most of everything that you have, like, especially in Christianity, right? I can't talk about Islam as much. I got some things on Islam too, but I can't, especially Christianity, right? All of the holidays, right? These holidays were taken. These holidays are, what's the word I'm looking for? Important astrological points that the ancient world, no matter if it's Egypt, no matter what ancient civilization that you may be speaking of, because they all practice as above, so below, right? And I don't like really talking about the as above, so below, because that could, you know, it's like it could be a trigger word. It could go into an occult realm, you know, where a lot of information is just kind of really not solid, you know what I mean? But the as above, so below has to do with astronomy, right? It has to do with astronomy. And when you're dealing with ancient societies, right? When you're dealing with ancient societies, the astronomy was brought down to the heaven. I mean, was the heavens was brought down to the earth. How did they play these things out? Okay, because they were in tune, right, with the cycles of the sun, with the cycles of the moon, and very astrological sound. You know what I mean? Astrologically sound. You know, they studied the heavens. And, you know, and now, you know, works and things of that nature and proofs have been shown that the pyramids is aligned to certain star constellations and what have you. And even the Sphinx was built towards the constellation of Leo, which puts it at least at a date of 10,000 years, which Robert Bauval will call Zeb Tepi, the first time, 10,500 years ago, something like that. So why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this is because to try to get you people to understand is that we are actually still, whether you like it or not, we are still celebrating these same festivals from the ancient past. We are still on that time. And all of these things that you think is pagan, or you think is whatever the holiday may be, this god, that god, whatever you think it may be, I'm telling you right now that it came from the ancient past. And the priests, right, who kept these things going, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. So even though you have the burning of the Library of Alexandria, even though you have Africa being conquered, you know, Egypt being conquered, you know, and, you know, that civilization coming to an end, even though you have these things, but the information and the lifestyle is still here to this day. And nobody is telling you this. Nobody is telling you this. Nobody is saying what I'm saying right now. And it's the absolute truth. Everything, if you want to, this is one of the most scariest things that a so-called conscious person or a so-called woke person could ever hear in their life. One of the most closest ways to practice the ancient Egyptian religion is through Christianity. So it's kind of like, have you ever seen like bootleggers? You know what I mean? You ever seen bootleggers, like when somebody, they used to have like pirate tapes or like the fake shoes, it's like the knockoff look-alike. Yeah, Christianity is the knockoff version of the ancient past. And they knew, and so these different time periods, or you know, these things come from the ancient past, right? You know, I don't have notes and things of that nature with me, so I'm just going to, you know, give you an overview. All of these things come from the ancient past. You know, it's not really that deep, and it's not nothing to knock. It's actually a good thing, because no matter what, what your ancestors laid in stone is still being practiced today. That's something to be proud of. You know, but everybody want to be so smart and they want to feel like they know something more than the next person. So they say it in a way that's like, oh, it's really this and it's just really that. And that's all it really is, because, you know, people have, you know, a lot of people become too smart for their own good, right? They become too smart for their own good, meaning that, you know, just because, you know, a lot of times people find the historical understanding of religions, how they came about, blah blah blah. I'm telling you, I got some videos that's gonna come, because I got some information, right, on Christ, on Jesus Christ, and who he really is, who Christ really is, right? And this information, the foundation and the work was laid by Walter Williams, okay? Was laid by what in Historical Origins of Christianity. He talks about how Christ is really Serapis, but I'm going to show you who the actual person that Christ really is. And you know, and Walter Williams talks about it, but I'm going to go into it further, right, to where it's not even you know, it's not even up for debate. Okay, it's not even up for debate. But then another thing you got to remember is you got the Gnostic tradition. So these concepts is so hard to speak about, because people think that when a religion gets debunked, right, because of the lesser wise ones, you know, kicking the door open and making their way inside of the religion, they think that it debunks the whole religion. And no, it actually doesn't. You know, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Then you have the Gnostic tradition, right? Who was trying to right the wrongs. And this is the people who had a direct connection and lineage to the actual priesthood of ancient Kim. I'm not saying that they was the priesthood of ancient Kim, but they had a connection in the lineage too, meaning that a percentage of that people still existed in them, and it was trying to survive through the Gnostic tradition and later to Hermeticism. You know what I mean? And later through Hermeticism. But through the Catholic Church, you know, a lot of information and people and religion and scholars got killed. You know what I mean? You know, got killed, got taken out. So through the Gnostic tradition, even though I can sit up in here and I can give you this information on Jesus the Christ and who he really is, but then if you don't study the Gnostic tradition and for them to tell you who Christ really is, and see, you could be lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? Meaning that, you know, the divine nature, we always knew that there was a divine nature within us as human beings, and a source that we came from and that we were going back to. And there was a moral code and things of that nature that was needed to make it back to that place, meaning that you are here for a reason and you can't be down here fucking up, right? So once you understand these things, right, you know, so later on, you know, later on in time, so when you're talking about a civilization like ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, synonymous. When you talk about a civilization like that, right, and you see that they understood that human beings had a divine nature, and came from a divine source and was going back to that source and had morals and had a moral code, right? That would be followed in order for you to make it back to that source. All right, you can see these things within the weighing of the heart ceremony that goes into what they call the 42 negative confessions, things of that nature, right? So you understand that there was a moral code. Now, when invaders come in, right, they follow the same traditions, all right? But later, as time move on, these traditions start to look different and different. They start to look really different, but the foundation of these things is still there, right? And so it's kind of like, you know, it's a whole lot of cut on it. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of cut on it, meaning that the base of it in its natural form is still there, but it's just a whole lot of cut on it now. It's a whole lot of fluff involved. And this is what we are seeing today in the life that we are living in today's religions and today's festivals, holidays. All of this stuff come from the ancient past. So I said all of that just to try to explain to you that how people are too smart for their own good. Because when somebody come up to you, right, or not come up to you, but if you hear somebody online and they bashing Easter, but you no, bruh, you don't. I mean, you can say what it's really about, but you can't bash it to the point to where it's like, no. I mean, I can't expect somebody to do or to speak about something that they don't know. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that how could you really be against it if it's really the same freaking thing? We know Easter came from Ishtar. We know Ishtar is the mother goddess. We know Ishtar comes from Isis. We know Ishtar comes from Isis. We know Isis resurrected Asar. Come on. So, and another thing is this too, man. Another thing is too, y'all be sleeping like the people that's running society and running the world, they not as dumb as y'all really think. You know what I mean? They not as dumb as that. The truth is there for those that could really put the pieces together. The truth is really there. These people are not dumb. These people know the ancient past. These people know the ancient past, and they know the importance of it. They know the importance of these dates. Why is the holidays and the dates, why is they all the same? Because they know the importance of these dates. And these things was laid in place or put in place and was started and was discovered and was lived since the ancient times, and we are still doing these things today. Meaning this is how important these things are in human nature. This is the as above, so below. Astronomy. Being in connections with the heavens. If you look at Kabbalah, what is Kabbalah? Kabbalah is as above, so below. Right? A lot of people talk, I guess you really can't say their name like that on YouTube. A lot of people talk about these people, but in their mystery system, which is the Kabbalah, which is a mystery system, in their mystery system is profound. I got a lot of information that I could bring about on that. Just through, I got probably 4 years of study of Kabbalah under my belt, and I have a profound understanding of it. Way more understanding than most people, right? Than most people. Because I'm gonna let you know right now that real Kabbalah, they don't want you to even get no real Kabbalah. That's why a lot of the books you can't even get. The Zohar was just recently put it to English not too long ago. You know what I mean? A lot of this information you really just didn't even have. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of Kabbalistic books you still can't get. Trust me. Because I didn't try to get a few that I wanted and I couldn't get my hands on. So, you know, what is the what is the Kabbalah? You know, we know that it's tied into what we would call the Old Testament, but what is it? It's a mystery system. What is the Kabbalah? What is the Sephiroth? It's as above, so below. It's that connection of the heavens with the earth. If you look at what they call Melkut or Nukva, and the relationship that the rest of the Sephiroths, right, will have on Melkuth, which is earth, right, which is Nukva, or which is Shakina, and you will see that it's, you know, it's all there. So, you know, it's all, sometimes information get encoded in a different way, but the information is still there. So if it's anything that you take from this video, you know, I hope and want you to understand that nothing has really changed. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has, that's really what it's breaking down to. Like, nothing has really changed. It changed in a way to make you think and to hope for you to believe that something has actually changed. But if you really get down to the nitty-gritty of these things, you realize nothing has changed, and that, you know, and what our ancestors laid in place far as knowledge wise and far as I guess you can call it a science at this standpoint, is still here, and we are still living it out to this day. So that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing. So, you know, that's what I want y'all to know. You know, that's what I want y'all to understand. And I'm gonna shut this down, man, and y'all stay good. I'm out.